What is going on, Debt-Free Mafia? Hey, welcome to today's video. This is my third time recording this video because for whatever reason I cannot get it to work correctly, but I think we're good to go now. Guys, today I wanted to talk about prenups. You're probably checking out this video because you're just curious, or maybe you're potentially getting married beforehand, or you're already married and you are considering a prenup. In today's video, I wanted to give you my opinion of it, why I don't like prenups, the one good thing about prenups, and why I typically recommend a will for any married couple. So guys, if you are new here, I'm so thankful that you're stopping by. Welcome to the Debt-Free Mafia. Go ahead and hit subscribe if you feel the vibe. We are all about becoming financially bulletproof, leaving a legacy to our children's children, and not stressing about money. So if that's something that you're into, and you're into just being responsible with your financial situation, go ahead, you're welcome here. We'd love to have you. But let's kind of jump into it. So I kind of want to talk just a little bit about a prenup, and as a financial coach, kind of what the direction I would steer somebody if we started talking about it. So if you don't know what a prenup is, it's short for prenuptial agreement, which essentially is protecting your own should you get a divorce, right? So it keeps you from having to pay alimony and potentially taking on any debt from your ex-spouse or things like that. So I wanted to talk about that. So let's talk about it. Why are people interested in a prenup? Well, for obvious reasons, right? Protection, right? It's almost like a divorce insurance, essentially. It's kind of what it's like. So if we look at it from a logical standpoint, it seems like it's just a really smart idea, right? So you look at it, it's like, okay, well, it provides protection for the both of us should we end up not liking each other, whatever the circumstances are. But here's my biggest issue with that. Since I've been financial coaching, since I've been involved with money, and since I've had my own marriage now for almost 10 years, I'll tell you this: money is way more closely attached to emotion and trauma than it is logic, right? So we got to have that in mind when we approach this, because if you're kind of one of those more logic people and you're looking at it from a logical standpoint, you're thinking, yeah, this is smart. However, you might be missing for your spouse or future spouse who might be considering that money is not really an object when it comes to marriage, right? And so my biggest issue is when it comes to prenups is you sow a seed of doubt in your marriage whenever you have a prenup. And I get it. However, it's just one of those things where it makes sense, but at the end of the day, what you're doing is you're protecting your own, and you're worried about yourself and not your spouse, and that is just not what marriage is about. Again, this is my advice. It's not legal advice. It's not counseling advice. If you haven't done marriage counseling, please do marriage counseling with a qualified counselor before you make this decision. So there's big time ties to emotion and money. So if you are entering this marriage wanting to take care of yourself and your own and your money and what you have, what you're doing is probably not coming across as like, hey, I'm gonna self-sacrifice for this other individual I'm committing my life to, right? So I want you to think about that, because I get it. Again, it's logical, but at the same time, you could sow seeds of doubt into your spouse, and ultimately that's not what we want to do. What marriage is about is it's a friendship where you choose every single morning when you wake up that you're going to sacrifice your wants, needs, and desires for theirs. If the both of you are doing that, you will have a great marriage. However, a lot of people don't view it that way. They view it as romance and love, and love is not a feeling, it's a choice. You have to choose to love people, right? Actions speak louder than words. We've heard that a whole bunch our whole lives. So I would challenge you in that area, not there. So let's kind of talk about it. What is that one thing that I do like about a prenup? So there is one cool little aspect about a prenup a lot of people don't know about, but a prenup will actually help you kind of dictate where your assets go should you die. Essentially, like if you bring an asset into the marriage before you were married and you were to die, your spouse might not have any rights to that asset, whatever it might be. It might be tied to a family member, so it could cause tension, you know, if your spouse who passed away had every intention of giving you something, however a family member pops in and says, no, that's mine. Yeah, it's really unfortunate, right? So it helps protect in that area, and I think that's a really good thing. However, my argument for that would be, let's do something else instead. Again, I'm not going to recommend the prenup, but I will recommend a will, right? And a will and estate plan. Your last will is a very important thing to have. I recommend it to every client I have, because here's the biggest thing about having a will. It is the easiest way to love people after you've passed. Because guess what? You can't love people after you pass this earth, right? But a will is the best way to do that, because why? What a will does is it organizes, it divides, it manages all of your things and your assets and your kiddos and even your pets, everything that you have ownership over. It manages that for your family members after you pass, or whoever you put in charge of your will after you pass, because I don't think it's totally fair for those who had just lost a loved one to have to not only grieve, but grieve and manage a very hard situation, because I've seen it happen. I've seen people pass without a will, and they're having to divide things up between children, brothers and sisters, and again, money's tied to emotion, right? And I always say money makes people funny. So whenever you have these things of value being split up amongst people, it's never fair to one person. Something's always going wrong. Somebody's really upset that they didn't get this. Somebody's mad that they didn't get the kids, or you got two in-laws fighting over each other for who gets the children should you guys pass. Yeah, it's not a fun situation. It's it can come across as morbid, but I cannot encourage you enough to have a will in place when it comes to that stuff. I think a will does a better job of solving the only thing I liked about a prenup better than a prenup. So ultimately, it's kind of review this again. So prenup, I don't recommend it just because I think it sets your marriage up for failure. And one thing I want you, and there's a statistic that I was reading about when prenups became a legal thing in the United States in 1983. I would also like to note that the divorce rate among married people in 1983 was 5%. Only 5% of marriages failed in 1983. And if you fast forward to today, guess what? It's half, and it's probably getting below half at this point now. So you have less than half chance that your marriage is going to make it. And so it's just really troubling that, it's like as soon as we introduced something like a prenup, that it trended up. I don't say it's directly correlated. That I would argue that it's probably a lot more tied with the number one cause of divorce is unfaithfulness, right? The second one is going to be money issues. So that's why I am such a big advocate for married people working together, budgeting, taking care of their finances, becoming financially bulletproof, like what we talk about here, so that that's not a stress for them to introduce into their marriage, so that they can focus on each other and not have to worry so much about whatever each other's doing with money and not being enough or too much or reckless or whatever it might be. That's a really great opportunity. If that is something that you struggle with in your marriage, please seek out a financial coach. Actually, before you seek out a financial coach, seek out marriage counseling. Once you guys get into kind of a healthy spot there, then you want to focus on financial coaching, just because I think that's a really great asset. It's basically like a personal trainer for your wallet, right? That's the number one way celebrities get in shape. They are celebrities and athletes. They hire a personal trainer. Why? Because they'll manage your diet. They'll watch your form, make sure you're not going to hurt yourself. They'll create you a workout plan, a step-by-step plan on how to achieve the goals that you want. That's what a financial coach does. So guys, I can't encourage you enough there. Again, if you're thinking about a prenup, please take a step back, measure the cost of it. I'm not talking about logically, I'm talking about emotionally. With your spouse, have lots of discussions about it. Guys, I'm rooting for you. I'm rooting for your marriage, and I appreciate you so much for stopping by. You guys are just incredible. So thankful for you. Again, if you want to be a part of the debt-free mafia, you don't have to be debt-free. You just want to, if you're just interested in the debt-free lifestyle and being financially bulletproof, we'd love to have you here. Hit subscribe, hit like for me. Appreciate you guys. Peace.